Carl and Suzanne had been married nearly 45 years. They were a sweet couple, but Carl had one horrible habit that always disgusted Suzanne. Every single morning before even getting out of bed, Carl would unleash a thunderous, wall-rattling fart. Poor Suzanne would cringe every time. For years she scolded him, saying, "You know, Carl, one of these days you're going to fart your guts out. What will you do when that happens?" Carl never took her warning seriously and kept right on with his morning blast, so Suzanne eventually started getting out of bed before he woke up. When Thanksgiving rolled around, Suzanne got up very early to work on dinner. While preparing the turkey, she pulled out the giblets and suddenly got a wicked little idea. She took the giblets upstairs and carefully tucked them into the back of Carl's boxers while he slept. Then she went back to the kitchen to continue her cooking. About 30 minutes later, a blood-curdling scream echoed from upstairs. Suzanne snickered to herself. After a couple minutes, she figured she should go check on him. As she walked past the bathroom, she saw Carl kneeling naked beside the toilet, holding 2 fingers up in front of his face. "What's wrong, Carl?" Carl turned toward her, a tear rolling down his cheek, and said, "You were right, Suzanne. My goodness, you were right. I actually farted my guts out this morning. But with sheer determination and these 2 fingers, I got 'em all back in." 2 fellows were sitting side by side at a bar. After a bit, one leaned toward the other and said, "I can't help but notice from the way you talk that you're from Ireland." The other replied proudly, "Yes, that I am." The first man said, "So am I." "And where in Ireland would you be from?" The other answered, "I'm from Dublin, I am." The first man said, "Well now, would you look at that, so am I. And what street did you live on in Dublin?" The other replied, "It was a fine little spot. I lived on McCleary Street in the old central part of town." The first man said, "Faith, it's a small world, so did I. And where did you go to school?" The other answered, "Well now, I went to St. Mary's, of course." The first man lit up and said, "And so did I. Tell me, what year did you finish?" The other replied, "Well now, I finished in 1964. The first man shouted, "The good Lord must be smiling on us. Imagine that, we ended up in the same bar tonight. I finished from St. Mary's in 1964 myself." Just then, another man walked into the bar, sat down, and ordered a beer. The bartender came over, shaking his head, and muttered, "It's going to be a long night tonight. The Murphy twins are drunk again."